Welcome to Complete SQL Tutorials. In this video, I'm going to discuss about the part 2 of the string function, which I will cover the replace, stuff, reverse, char index, pat index, length, substring, lower, upper, and space, and the concatenate. So this video is very important for the string function because the most of the use cases in the real time, which is the most time you using, so we'll cover in this video. So last video I discussed a few of the inbuilt function like the left function, right, ltrim, rtrim, and skchar. So that is the basic, and in a very rare case they will using, but even if you don't get a chance to look up this video number 30, I'm just recommend please go and watch this video. Okay, so let's start with this video and understand how we can work with all the function, and I will discuss all these function with the real-time use cases and the real-time question. I will also solve some type of the real-time question, so you will get better understanding. Okay, so let's start with this function. So before starting this function concept, I'm going to create one duplicate table, that is the copy of the dim employee, and I will update in this dim employee, so it will not impact in the future training. Okay, so let's create it. I created the dim employee 1 table, and we have the data which is the copy of the dim employee. So the first one is the replace function. So replace function is basically used to replace the value, the name seems. Okay, so sometimes if you have the requirement to replace one value to another value, you can use the replace function. So what is the syntax? You need to use the replace keyword, replace. Either you can capital letter or you can small letter. So the SQL will not impact any capital or small. Okay, so for example, my letter is my name is Mukesh. So if you have the requirement with the change, replace with the Mukesh to the middle, you can use the replace function. So this is the basic, but now how we can implement into the real time. Okay, so suppose if you have any table or any data, if you have the bulk update or the bulk requirement change or something bulk requirement to update some of the data, like for example, I have this email address is there. Now for a company they change the domain name. Okay, so the client you requested to replace the email address. Okay, so adventurework.com to the pandeguruji.com. Okay, so how you can do that? So before replacing, you need to make sure this is the correct keyword or not. Okay, the working is correct or not. So first you need to select it. Okay, so when you selected it, okay, so you will get this in the output, that is correct output or not. So you can see the output is coming correct. Okay, like whatever this is the new value, this is the existing value. So now if you sure the 100%, that is the whatever the syntax is written here, this is the correct. Now you can go ahead and update the table. So I put it the update table, and the set email address is equal to whatever the function here used. Yes, you can copy here and you can paste it here. Okay, so you can paste after the paste, and once you executed the code, you can see all the output is coming updated. So now you can go with the email address, and you can see the email address is got updated with the adventurework.com to pandeguruji.com. So like this replace function we can use the in the real time. Now we have the next inbuilt function, which is the stuff function. So stuff function is basically used to replace the value, but we have some more advantage, we can update it. So basically basic difference between the replace and the stuff function is the stuff function have the functionality from where you want to start, and how many characters do you want to replace which value. Okay, but this functionality is not available in the replace function. You need to replace the entire value whatever the value you want. Okay, but suppose I have the real time use cases. Even you can see in the real time also, sometimes you can see the mobile number or the card number or the email address is coming like XXX. So some of the value is hide. Okay, so if the any of the crucial information is there, and if you want to hide the some of the value, you can use the stuff function. Like for example, I have the phone number, and the phone number want to hide some of the data, like I want to display only starting 2 digit and ending 2 digit. So I want to start with the 3 letter, and because we have the 2 additional dashes is there, so you need to use the 8 letter, and you can put the XXX. Okay, so when you execute this one, you can see the value is coming like 32XXX95. Okay, 15XXX89. If you want to increase the number of the X, you can increase the number of the X as well. So you can update in the table as well. So you can just copy the function and update the phone number or any derived column. So this way we can use the stuff function. Now the reverse function, which is the use to reverse the data. Okay, so if you have the requirement to reverse the any of the value, like I want to reverse the first name GUI Kevin, you can use the reverse function. Now very important, which is the CHARINDEX. CHARINDEX is basically used to find the index position. Okay, so for example, suppose I have the Microsoft SQL, what is the position the SQL is starting. Okay, so if you execute this one, it always return the single integer value. So from the 11th position SQL is starting. So if you manually count like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Okay, so from the 11th position SQL is starting. Same way, if in the table, if you want to see the which position at the rate is starting into the email address, so you can see each and every column they will give the different output. The reason the name is different, like here we have the GUI1 at the rate, Kevin 0 at the rate, Roberto 0 at the rate. So that is the reason the output value is the different. Okay, and I will tell you what is the use cases of the CHARINDEX when we discuss in the substring function. Okay, now we have the PATINDEX, which is the basically used to find the pattern index. So whenever you have the requirement to find the some pattern, okay, you don't know the exact what value we need to figure it out, so you can use the some pattern index. This is the same equivalent to the CHARINDEX, and they give the position. So CD is starting from the 3rd position. Okay, next one is the length function. Length function is basically used to find the length, complete length. Okay, so suppose if you have defined the first name complete length, and this also count the complete space as well. If you have any spaces in there, they will count the space as well. So for example, suppose if you have the requirement to find out the name length which is the greater than 6. Okay, so 6 digit letter is greater, so you can find the 67 record we have which name is greater than 6. Okay, so like this way you can use the length function. Now very important for the interview point of view, a real-time working point of view, substring, and a very useful inbuilt function is there in the SQL, and this is very most using in the real-time environment. And even if you attend the interview, if any interviewer will ask you question related to a string function, definitely they will ask the question on the substring. So substring basically used to trim the data. So last video I discussed about the trimming the data from the left side and trimming the data from the right side, left and right function. But what will be happen if you have the requirement to trim the data from the middle? Okay, so this is the cover the substring. So substring from where you want to trim the data, and this is the starting position and this is the ending position. So this will start from the 5 and this will end with the 3 letter. Okay, so if you execute this one, 5th position we have the E, and the 3 letter I passes, so EFG is coming into the output. Okay, so the real time, suppose if you have the requirement like this table I have. Okay, so suppose our requirement is to find the to trim the NTID. Okay, so what is the NTID? So basically whatever the value you have before the @ okay, whatever the value have before the @ you can see GUI1, Kevin 0, Roberto 0. So if you require this value, so to achieve this requirement we can use the substring. Okay, so substring, we pass the email address and the starting position you want, but ending position we don't know because the value is varying. GUI1 here is, if you pass the 5, like for example, suppose if you do like this ending position, if you hard coded the any value, like for example I am passing here the 5, and if you trim it will got filled for the next value. Okay, so you can see like for example I am passing the 4 for the first record, it working. Okay, but it will not work for the next record because you can see it's coming KEVI Robe like this. So to achieve this requirement you need to use the char index. Okay, so char index basically we taking the position, so within the substring we will use the char index, and since we using the char index, they giving the index position of the @ okay, but we not required @ right? So that is the reason we need to put the -1. Okay, so whatever the output is coming, they subtract 1, so you will get the only NTID, means before the whatever the @ value is there. So now you can see this is the correct so this is the correct code you will get into the output. So you can see GUI1 is coming, Kevin 0 is coming, Roberto 0 is coming, Rob 0 is coming, Rob 0 is Terry 0 is coming. So like this we can achieve the substring, and we will continue to learn this substring in entire training program. So if you have better understanding on the substring, you can try to practice some of the real-time use cases, so you will get better understanding. Okay, so the next one is the lower and the upper. So lower and upper is basically used to convert the lower cases entire keyword. So GUI1 G is a capital is there, so they converted into the all the lower, and the upper is basically used to convert the all letter in the upper. And next one is the very important interview question. So let me show you. So let me create the scenario. So in this table, dim employee table, we have, you can see the first name is all the capital, a small letter is there, but my requirement is to convert the first letter is the capital letter. Okay, so the requirement is to convert the first letter is the capital letter. So now suppose if you want to convert this one, you need to use the first upper within the left function. Okay, and trim the first letter and convert to the upper. And second one is the substring, because we already have the first letter. Now I trim the second letter of the first name from the dim employee table. Okay, so if you execute this one, you can see the output is coming correct. GUI1, Kevin 0, Roberto 0, Rob 0. So same thing you can do and put into the update statement. So data got updated here. So before updating, I'm just recommending you please use the select statement, so you can figure it out that is the function I applied is correct or not. Okay, so you will get correct update into the table. Okay, so the next one is the space and concatenate. Okay, so a space and concatenate is basically used to concatenate the value, and the space is used to give the space. So if you want to, like for example, I have dim employee table, first name and last name. I want to generate additional column, that is the full name, and I want to concatenate both value, first name and the last name. So if I put the first name plus, so in the SQL for the concatenation we can use only plus symbol, so the value got combined here. Okay, so first name, last name. But if you want to give the spaces, either you can use the space function, and whatever in the bracket number you pass, they will give the number of the space. Like for example, if you give 1, they give 1 space. If you give like 3, they will give 3 space between the first name and the last name. Okay, so always give the how many number of the space you want. You can also put the single inverted comma as well. So single inverted comma is also giving the space. Okay, so this is the all about the string function, and I hope you able to understand the all the string function. And next function I will discuss about the conversion, which is the convert, and how we can convert the one data type that is very useful into the converting the data. So thank you for the watching the complete video. Okay, and we'll meet again in next one. Thank you so much.